Alright, so, yeah, I'm tackling some of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. To begin this review, I'll say right now, I'm not a fan of the original. I like most of the other movies, either as okay movies or just time wasters at best. But, yeah, it's directed by Jeff Burr, who's an indie filmmaker at heart, as he put it. But I didn't see they pretty much hired him based off the little success from Stepfather 2. He was hired to come in and direct the third film of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, and pretty much disregard stuff that happened at the second film, because the second film a lot of fans didn't like. They wanted to go back to hard R, and they lied, because, well, I shouldn't say they, it's more the MPAA, because they pretty much F this movie up. They ruined it because they were afraid of what they put in the film. Like Jeff Burr apparently, or the screenwriter David J. Scow, he wrote the script for this, and it was very, very violent and more gory than the previous two. And the MPAA, I guess, didn't like that, and they were like, we're not allowing you to put all this gore in there. Even though they promote the film as, they want to go back to hardcore horror. And the most controversial horror film ever is finally here. And then you see it, and it's like, no, not really. Because the gore's not there. And even they released the unrated DVD, which I have. Yeah, that sucks, because it's only maybe a few minutes longer. Kind of. But, like, some scenes, they still cut away from the main kills. Like, even when you have an unreleased or unrated thing, they still trim the violence out. Even the little girl who has to pull down the sledgehammer, it cuts away when she does it, even in the unrated version. So, and the acting in this isn't bad. I mean, the Lord of the Rings guy isn't bad. Kate Hodge, who I like. Butler Ken Foree. I liked his character. He's a survivalist character who goes toe to toe with Leatherface a bit. But then his character is weird, because like his character apparently dies, but then like in reshoots or whatever, they brought him back because I guess the test audiences or whoever liked his character and they didn't want him to die. So even though he got, chainsawed in the head to the side, I guess he can survive that, and he has a little flesh wound on the side of his head, but he's okay, and limping a little bit, but he's fine. Again, even the very, very beginning of this is promising, because it shows Leatherface killing a woman, cuts her face off, and that one was really, it set the tone a bit of what they were apparently trying to do. I liked the lighting, I liked how it was shot, very creepy, very scary, but then the rest of the movie isn't really like that. I mean, granted, Leatherface isn't how he is in the fourth one, where he's literally a pansy, but here he's more of as they've said, more of a rebellious teenager. But yeah, I mean, it's a couple. They're traveling through Texas. Michelle and Ryan reach the last chance gas station. There they meet a hitchhiker named Tex, who's trying to go a certain way. And, Alfredo, he's weird. His character, at first I was like, when I first saw this film, when I rented it back in the day, I was like, that's not Robert Englund. Because he looks like him a little bit from a distance. Or like his facial expressions. But that's not him. But, that would have been funny if it was. A fight soon breaks out between Tex and Alfredo because, Alfredo was pretty much peeking in on, Michelle in the bathroom, and pretty much they think the cowboy guy, Tex, is dead because he gets shot or whatever as they're driving off. And before that, Tex mentions he's trying to go a certain way. If you go this way off the main road, you'll get no traffic or whatever. So then they take it in a hopes of Alfredo not following them. And then pretty much afterward, Michelle and Ryan, another driver, a survivalist named Benny, played by Ken Foree, crashes, and before that, they encounter Leatherface, which is a pretty decent, good scene, intense scene, where he rips the trunk off the car, which is pretty cool. Shows his strength. Shows him being menacing. Then that's when they meet. They crash into Benny. And then Benny he sees another car coming, or a truck, and sees Tinker, a guy named Tinker, who's basically part of the family. He offers his assistance in setting down road flares. Benny soon realizes his real intentions, and after he finds a damaged chainsaw in the back of his truck, because he thinks that's the guy that attacked the couple, he flees and encounters Leatherface, but is saved by Sarah, the girl from the beginning who saw her sister get killed. Her character is worthless, because while she leads Leatherface away from Kid Foree, even though it's like, Leatherface can still just, jam the chainsaw into him and kill him, and then go after her. Nope, I'm gonna just kick you and then go after the girl. Because why not? But yeah, that's always funny to me in movies. Just kill him and then go after the other person. But no. Pretty much, she leads Leatherface off, and Benny learns Sarah's entire family was killed, and that Leatherface and his family are watching the roads. Benny hears Michelle and Ryan calling for him, and leaves Sarah alone, which I'm like, how about you tell her to come with you? But then I think she's like, no, I don't want to, or something. Which I'm like, that's dumb. And then, pretty much she dies off, like, we see Leatherface almost jammed the chainsaw into her, but then not really. It's the cutaway, and we only hear her scream. Even in the unrated cut, at least, we do see blood squirt on her face. But that's it. Would have been cool if we actually got to see the saw go into her body, but no. Pretty much then, a short time later, Leatherface then attacks Michelle and Ryan, capturing Ryan because he gets caught in a bear trap. So I guess he kills him, sorta. But then he's a bit conscious later on. Escaping, Michelle locates a house and is captured by Tex, but because pretty much she gets stabbed in the leg by the little girl. who people credit her as Leatherface's daughter, so I'm like, who'd he bang to get a kid? Or shouldn't even say bang, but revealed to be one of the Sawyers, brings her into the kitchen and introduces her to already deceased, decomposed grandpa. Tinker then drags in the badly injured Ryan, whom he and Tex suspend upside down with a pair of meat hooks. Leatherface returns home. I do like the one scene where he's in the garage and he's playing like those word kid games where you have to spell a word and then it reads it back to you, and he keeps typing in food because he thinks people are food, and he gets mad because it's not computing with what he's thinking. So that was sort of interesting, a little bit of character depth of what we can get with Leatherface in here. And that's when we get the chainsaw is family. Well, actually, that was in the second film, but they carried it over here, I guess, to sort of reference the second film, but not really. But then we see Stretch during the news at the beginning, the reporter news scene. So, yeah, Leatherface prepares to kill Michelle, but Benny opens fire on the house with an automatic rifle, which I'm like, how I don't know how you miss everybody, because, like, how about you take out Leatherface, who's like the main tank of the family, and then worry about everybody else. But, yeah. But all he kills is the grandmother, I guess, and Tinker. But I don't even think we see Tinker die, except in deleted scenes or something I was watching where it showed his dead body and like the little girl was like, I guess, taking blood from him or something. But yeah, we don't see him die, we see his finger to get shot off, and that's it. Michelle escapes and flees to the woods, pursued by Leatherface. Benny fights with Tex. I love their interplay between them where Benny's like, "What's wrong with you people? Why can't you just leave us alone?" And then Tex is like, "We're hungry. You ever heard of pizza?" And then, like, Tex's thing is like, "I like liver." Or something like that. Like, I like the fight was pretty intense, and dialogue was funny to me. Benny rushes to Michelle's aid, but Leatherface apparently kills him in revenge. Michelle apparently kills Leatherface, hitting him over the head with a brick, or not a brick, but a rock that somehow does not damage Leatherface's head or kill him like it should. And pretty much as dawn breaks, Michelle reaches the main road before Alfredo pickup truck driven by a surviving Benny stops in front of her, and that's where I was like, oh, alright, cool. And as Benny helps her into the truck, Alfredo appears and attacks him, knocking him unconscious, and then pretty much that scene is Michelle kills Alfredo with a shotgun, and no gore there, just a shot in the chest, typical, and no blood really, but a little bit of splattered blood, and that's it. And then they drive off happily, unaware that surviving Leatherface is reviving his chainsaw in some distances away. And then the movie ends. And then the movie flopped when it came out. Because after they were done shooting, they had to go in and edit so much that they missed their release date. So then they were just dumped in January, which is seen as the worst year or worst month for horror movies, which I disagree with. Because there are some movies I like that came out, horror movies I like that came out in January. But yeah, they had to go in and, you know, battle between New Line Cinema and the MPAA, which intentionally rated this film an X, which I'm like, how does this get an X rating? Because of what? Graphic violence. What violence? And I guarantee, what graphic violence? Yeah, there's violence, but more implied. hardly seen on screen. And before the MPAA replaced X with NC-17, Jeff cited as issues involved that the studio was independent. Texas Chainsaw 2 had been also released unrated, and the film's grim tone. The studio eventually relented and trimmed more graphic elements. Burr said that the film's negatives were cut to maintain the film's release deadline. The film was rejected by the British Board of Film Classification. Though it was upon submission for theatrical release in 1990, and the trim version gained an 18 certificate. Whatever. That makes no sense. I don't understand. Just don't get it. It received negative reviews upon its potential release. I mean, yeah. Because the MPAA, took charge and just ruined stuff. They came in and, at one point they fired Jeff Burr because he wanted to do he was trying to film the movie a certain way, and they weren't having it, so they fired him, and then they brought him back a few days or a week later or something, because they didn't like the other director that they hired, I guess, or something. So yeah, that sucks. I mean, and essentially, Jeff Burr wanted Gunnar Hansen to reprise his role as Leatherface, but of course there's, I guess, rumors of different causes of why that didn't happen. Possibly over money, maybe. Don't know. But yeah, I don't hate this film. I know a lot of people either like it or it's bashed with 4 as well, or Next Generation, I should say. But I don't hate it. It's not really a bad film. I still like elements of it, like the very beginning of it. I wish they kept that tone. But I like Kate Hodge. I liked her character where she can't bear to kill this little dying animal on the side of the road, but then by the end she steps up to the plate and fights back. So I like that. I like Ken Foree's character, who's pretty cool. He's a survivalist. He knows how to survive and fights toe to toe with Leatherface a bit, and even goes in there guns blazing at one point. I wish he would actually shot some of the main people, but and the way he supposedly dies, but then doesn't die. They should have shot that a certain way, but then I guess they didn't know that his character was really liked by audiences when they shot it. So that's why they did reshoots for bringing his character back. And although it's funny, they didn't care to tell Jeff Burr to reshoot that. They had somebody else, I guess, go out and do it. So yeah, this was a commercial and critical failure, grossing over 5.7 million at the box office, making it the poorest performing film in the series at the time until the release of its successor, Next Generation. I wonder what the budget was, though, because that's how much it made. But I wonder how much the budget was. It doesn't say. Although I would say watch if you're interested in the history of the movie, I would say watch the documentary. It's on YouTube. Type in Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre documentary, I believe, or the Sawless Family documentary. They go into detail of what happened, and even that's way more interesting than most of the movie and what they put on screen. But yeah, overall, I would say give it a watch, but don't go into it thinking it's a amazing, installment, because it's not. It's a decent, trying movie. That's really all I could give it. It's a decent movie. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos. And thanks for watching. Peace and love.